Ladies and gentlemen, you know who this is. This is number one. Number one. As you can see, Canada versus Ivory Coast. Let's not waste any time. Shana Yampong, Shana Yampong, Shana Yampong is what the Ivory Coast people were saying. As in the Akan group of Ivory Coast. That's what they're saying. Shana Yampong. Magic cap na wie. Enti mayenhwe na yenkofie. That was the reaction. That being said, my name is Number One Blogger. You know who it is. I'm back in action. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to the game because I was at work. But guess what? I got to watch some of the game at work. What I can say about this game, it was a full tilt game. Yes, a full tilt game. Canada came to play. Côte d'Ivoire, aka Ivory Coast, also came to play. I'm telling you, the game was back and forth. It was like the battle of the goalkeepers. Because to me, honestly, I felt like it's the goalkeepers that really put on a show. Nicolas Pepe had literally like two chances. He missed a header. He also missed a shot. But maybe the defending was on point from Canada, so that could also be possible. BMO Field. As you know, Toronto's motto is diversity or strength. So, you know, there's a lot of Ivorians in the crowd. A lot of Africans also that were wearing the Côte d'Ivoire jersey. I want to give a big shout out to Abidjan. I want to also give a big shout out to Nyamisukro. Nyamisukro, you hear me? Nyamisukro. That being said, Canada won the war. But guess what? Ivory Coast won the battle. Guys, let's get into statistics. Team stats to be exact. Canada had 8 shots. None were on goal. Ivory Coast had 10 shots and only 1 on goal. Abysmal if you think about it. Possession, Canada had 44% and Ivory Coast had 56%. The passes were in Ivory Coast's favor with 378, with Canada with 301. Pass accuracy. Ivory Coast had 82% to Canada 73%. Yeah, the fouls were crazy in this game, especially first half. Yo. Crazy work, my guy. Crazy work. 20 fouls for Ivory Coast and 21 for Canada. Red cards, thankfully there was none. Offsides, both teams had 2 apiece. Corners, one corner, corner. It was 3 apiece. Do I even need to talk about the lineups? I mean, not really. All I can say to you is looking at the lineups. Like, let me look at Canada. Canada had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 yellow cards. 5. Jesse Marsh. You got a lot to talk to your team about because there was definitely a lack of discipline. The Ivory Coast coach. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You need to talk to your team too. You really need to talk to your team. Mr. Faye. Immerse Faye. Your team had 4 yellow cards too. What thing they go on, my guy? What thing they go on? This game wasn't played clean at all. But guess what? This game went into not extras, but straight to penalties. Just so you know, Canadian Shield is a tournament, and just to give you a rundown, is that Canada going into the shootout, they already won. Reason why I said that is the first game they played, they won, so they got their 3 points. And how this tournament is set up is, if you go into shootout, you already earn a point going into the shootout. But if you win the shootout, you get 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. So that's why I said Canada won the war and Ivory Coast won the battle. Penalties solved it all. Ivory Coast won fair and square 5-4. You gotta give a big shout out to Canada. Canada football has improved. No matter what you guys say. Because to go against the African champions, yes, I get it. It is only a friendly. But Canada showed out. I know they didn't get any shots on target, but they were able to hold their own. The world, it's time to put some respect on Canada's name, bruv. It's time to put some respect on Canada's name. Canada ain't no slouch anymore in world football, bro. We ain't no slouch. You see that? You see that right there? Ain't no slouch. But that being said, who scored the game winner? It was none other than Diomande. Diomande that I was talking about earlier. Diomande scored the game winner. This is the same guy that was actually supposed to play for the Ghana national team, but declined and ended up playing for Ivory Coast. So guess what? He's the one that got the win. But funny enough, you know he still qualifies to play for Ghana. Guess what? Because he's only played one friendly. I believe the FIFA rule is that you can still play 1 or 2 games and still be able to play for another team. But Ghanaians, get it out of your mind. Diomande is not playing for Ghana. You did hear me? You know they play for Ghana. It's not happening. Whether you like it or not, this boy is not playing for Ghana. It's not happening. Listen, at the end of the day, the Canadian Shield was vibes. And the reason why I say it's vibes is you got to see Ukraine, you got to see New Zealand, you got to see the African champions in Ivory Coast, and you got to see your hometown boys, Team Canada. You know what? How about you just go watch the trophy celebration? Even though they lost the game and Ivory Coast was cheering, they still won the Canadian Shield. They clinched it because they had 3 points plus 1, which is 4. And the other teams, as in Ukraine and New Zealand, they all ended up at 3 apiece. Because Ukraine ended up beating New Zealand. And guess what? New Zealand beat Ivory Coast. So the final standings were Canada 4, Ukraine 3, New Zealand 3, Ivory Coast 2. Yep, that's how it all ended. If we're talking about formations, yes, let's talk about formations now. Team Canada, the Canucks, played a 4-4-2. And guess what Ivory Coast did? Ivory Coast played a 4-4-2 the same way. I just want to say congratulations to Jesse Marsh and the Canadian national team on winning the Canadian Shield, which is in its inaugural season. Congratulations to the boys once again. Congratulations to Richie Lara, Steven Estacchio, Kyle Laren, Tejon Buchanan, Nick Sejor, Zohan Basong, Jamie Knight Nebel, Jacob Schaffelberg, Maxime Crapeau, who was in the net, but St. Clair did the damn thing. Tani Olua Shea, Jonathan David. Who else do I got? Nathan Saliba, David Promise, Jebison Osorio, Kone, Jameer Nelson, Sama de Gube, Cornelius, Waterman, and Ahmed. If I missed your name, I didn't do it on purpose. Garvan, also, give a big shout out. I know you guys were on the bench, but everybody deserves a shout out. I want to give a shout out to also Matthew. This was a full team effort at BMO Field. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is number one blogger once again. Make sure you tune in every day. I'm going to bring more content. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to watch the game, but I watched when it was the most exciting. That being said, stay tuned to Canada and the Gold Cup. This is number one blogger. Bye for now.